This is 2.6, part 2. So in this section, we're looking at perfect square trinomials. A trinomial that is a square of a binomial is called a perfect square trinomial. And they come in two factors. Here we have a squared and then a plus 2 times our a and b plus b squared. And this will factor into a plus b and then all squared. Or you can have the same thing but a negative, and this puts a negative in the middle. So let's take a look at what this would be like. So this first one is factor 36x squared plus 12x plus 1. Now, let's factor this first, assuming that we did not notice that it was a perfect square trinomial. So what we would do is we try and factor something out, and in this case we cannot. So then we need to do our AC method. So we'll take this one and multiply it here, and we'll get x squared plus 12x plus 36. Then we need two numbers that are going to multiply together to give us 36 and add together to give us 12. In this case, it's 6 and 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. 6 times 6 is 36. So we get x plus 6 over, we need to divide by the number we circled, so over 36, and x plus 6 over 36. Then we need to simplify, so top and bottom here can divide by 6, so divide by 6, and the same thing over here. So we get x plus 1 over 6, x plus 1 over 6. Then we need to move whatever's in the denominator up here in front of the x. So we get 6x plus 1, 6x plus 1. So we're left with two identical brackets. So whenever we have two completely identical brackets, the signs are identical, everything's identical. Well, we can change that to 6x plus 1 squared. Okay, so that because these are identical. So because it's identical, they get squared. Okay, so this is, if you did not notice that this was a perfect square trinomial, you can factor it the normal way you would factor it. If it's just an x squared, if there's nothing in front here, you wouldn't do the AC method. You would just factor normally. Here we had to do the AC method, and we ended up with two brackets, 6x plus 1, that were identical, so we put the squared. The other way you can do this, is you did notice that this is a perfect square trinomial. So if we look here, let's make it fit our pattern. So here everything is pluses, so we're going to be doing the first one. So we have a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So let's see if this fits. So here we have 36x squared. Is that the same as 2ab? So 36x squared, if we took the square root of that, so 36x squared, if we did the square root, we would get 6x. And then if we did the square root of 1, square root of 1 is 1. So is the middle 2 times a times b? So remember, this is now a, and this is b. So is this middle part 2 times a times b? So 2ab would be 2 times 6x times 1. 2 times 6x is 12x, and this matches this middle number, 12x. So that means that yes, this is a perfect square trinomial. So because of that, we've already found out what our a and b is. So that means that we can write a plus b squared as our final answer, okay, which is 6x plus 1 squared. And look what I got here, 6x plus 1 squared, 6x plus 1 squared. Okay, so you could factor it, or you can do this shortcut if you notice it's a perfect square trinomial. Let's try another one. And here, let's highlight our final answer. So this is our final answer, or this, same thing. Okay. This next one. So let's try this one. 4c squared, the square root of that is 2c. Square root of 9 is 3. So does that equal 12c? So 2 times 3 times 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Would be 12c. So that does work. So that means this bracket has a negative in it. So that means that we need a negative 2c minus 3 squared. So this minus this and then squared is going to be our final answer for this one. And our last one, is this a perfect square trinomial? Well, here, the first thing we have to do, always still, is remove a greatest common factor. So don't forget that step here. All three of these divide by 3. So we're going to be able to take a 3 out. So we'll end up with x squared plus 8x plus 16. Now we're going to square root our first number. So x squared, our square root of that is x. We'll square root our n number, 16. That's 4. So does this number 2 times these two? So x and 4 is 4x, times 2 would be 8x. So yes, it is. So that means, don't forget to write your 3. We can write x. Now, we look back here. This is a positive. So that means we're going to have plus 4 and then squared. And that's our final answer for this one. So now you can go and do, page 104, number 7, A to F.